What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Talk Punch. Thanks so much for joining us. While you're here, since you're already here, do us a favor. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. We are a young channel. We've only been doing this for like 6 months. It would really, really help us. We get excited every time there's a new subscriber. We're at like 22. I see it go to 23. I get excited. Make me excited.
It's cute. He calls me. It's in the middle of the night.
I do. I say, Charlie, we got another subscriber. What we need, and I know it's a lofty goal, 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers lets us have a custom URL for YouTube. So it could be youtube.com/TalkTalkPunch, which would be amazing. Right now it's just TalkTalkPunch or youtube.com/ a random string of numbers. It makes no sense. But you can't get a custom URL till you have 100 subscribers. So that's our goal. That's where we're going. 100 subscribers. Help us out. Hit the like and subscribe.
I'm getting tired. I've made 21 different unique emails. It's hard, you know. It's so yeah. I don't want to. Maybe I'll make another 80 or so. Just over the top, but yeah. Thank you. Any help? Thank you. You don't have to watch. Just subscribe.
And then while you're at it, make sure you also hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every time a new episode comes out. Every Wednesday at noon to see what we're talking about. Kind of like this week's topic of top 10 sports movies. This is a topic that Charlie has been begging for since we started this. He said, come on, bro. Sports movies. And I say, man,
sports movies.
I don't know if I can do it. But here we are. We're doing it. I am Brody Hanson, joined by Charlie Hickman. Charlie Hickman, how are you doing?
I'm excited. It was, I'll be honest, Brody, it was a stressful day today. I am so excited to sit here, to unwind, to talk some movies with you. And look, if you're watching this, maybe it's been a stressful day for you too. Hopefully you can find some escapism and just a little bit of fun here with us tonight as we go through. I'm going to be honest. Okay. This was a tough list for me to like narrow down. I was telling you before we started recording, I could have easily done just 10 baseball movies and just washed my hands and walked away. It was hard to kind of pare this down. I got a couple. I don't know if they're, I'm going to call them, you know what? I'm going to call them hot takes. Let's go for the clickbait here. Some caliente takes here about some of these sports movies. So stay tuned.
Yeah. So this was an easier list for you. It just in terms of like,
no, not, Well, I mean, in terms of quantity,
sure. Yes, that seems to be the case for you. Is you always have a hard time paring these down.
Yeah,
I get to 10.
Like you could cut and.
I get to 10, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Because I think this list in particular, I was thinking I can think of a lot of sports movies that I've seen, but I don't think that sports movies are typically movies that I go and I rewatch a lot. And so I'm like,
sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a good movie. I think I saw it once, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, And so I was kind of like, I liked that movie as a kid. Can I put it on the list now? And so my list it's a little out there. So I know you've got a lot of like sports stuff. I've got a lot of like sports movies.
Are we air quoting the word sports here? Sports
movies. It's good.
Yeah.
They've all got sports. I promise.
All right.
Look,
I used to get in this argument a lot about what is a sport. And in my younger days, I had a pretty rigid definition of what a sport is. Like, for instance, a sport has to be athletic. Can't just like pool. People talking about best sports movies. They're putting like The Color of Money on there. Okay, pool is not a sport. No offense to people who love pool. I love pool. I play pool. It is not a sport. It is a game. It's a wonderful, strategic, excellent game. Not a sport. Sport needs to be something that you play. And game-like, right? For instance, surfing requires an incredible amount of athleticism and skill and strength. But Brody, if you and I wanted to go play surfing, how would we do that?
Who could stay up the longest?
Play a round of surfing. So I say anything that requires judges to tell you if you did a good job, like holding up a 7 or an 8. I love gymnastics and ice skating in the Olympics. I'm so excited. The Olympics are coming. I'm so excited. I don't know that I would consider them sports. Athletic games. Look, I don't. Bringing the hot takes. Bringing the hot takes.
That's a hot
And look,
take.
for some reason that sounds like I'm demeaning those, and I'm not. It just, sports. You gotta be able to play. You gotta,
sports.
gotta be able to play. Yeah, it's not a sport in the traditional sense of the word. In the broad umbrella of sports, absolutely sports and athleticism. Auto racing, is that a sport? It's not a sport. It's a competition. It's a driving competition. Races in general, I think it's a real dicey, because where do you draw the line? Is it, like you said, we'll say who stands up the longer. We're going to call that a sport, like stand longiest. No, come on.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm as usual. I made my list and have since forgotten what it was. So we'll see if my movies fit your criteria of what a sport is. We will see.
I did want to emphasize. I said when I was younger, I was far more rigid about most things in life. Now my umbrella has widened, and let's let all the casual sports in, except for pool and poker. Come on, it's not a sport. Let's. All right, you know what? I'm re-rigiding now. The rigor mortis is setting back in my old age. All right, we better start before I start old man ranting about things.
Oh my goodness. My first movie is all about esports and video games. So.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Is it really?
I'm just kidding.
Is it
no,
Fred? It's got Fred Savage in it. Is it the
Wiz?
the one where he's the? I love. By the way, esports. I love it. Not a sport, but I do love. I love the.
It's the title. It's esports, Charlie.
Yeah, esports. It's a different kind of. It's like already telling you in the title that it's not real sports.
It's a sport. It's a sport.
If I said virtual sports, you wouldn't say, oh, sports. You'd say, oh, virtual sports. It's a different kind of...
You're playing sports virtually. Still.
So if I say virtual reality, you're thinking, oh, this is reality.
In a virtual
you're thinking
world,
it's virtual reality. It's a completely different thing than reality. It's virtual reality. It's esports. It's different. It requires no athletic abilities to play esports. It's video games. I love esports. It's not sports. Look, if I can compete in it at like an elite level, not a sport. With the exception of slow pitch co-ed softball.
There you go.
All right. There we go.
All right.
Still bringing the heat, bro. Still bringing the heat.
Well, let's get right to it. Number 10 is, I think I know my number 10, which is probably on your list. It's probably a crossover. That's not the right thing.
The suspense is like, but you're building it.
There it is.
Hey, the Sandlight. It is on my list, and it is higher on my list. If you'd like to talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. It's fine.
Okay. Well, look at you, a baseball movie on your list. After all that talk about how you weren't going to have any sports, and then you come in hot with a baseball. Love it.
I know. Yeah, I think we might have maybe like 2 crossovers. And I figured that this would be one of them.
All right.
All right.
Well, good for you.
Charlie, you're number 10.
Okay, my number 10, I guarantee you do not have. Little Big League. This is not a good movie.
2 thumbs up, man. It got 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you ever watch their show when you were younger? Did you ever?
Oh, I loved watching Siskel and Ebert when I was young.
There were a couple of odd birds.
I loved it.
All right, so this kid is 12 years old. His grandfather owns the freaking Minnesota Twins. His grandpa, played by a wonderful actor named Jason Robards, he passes away, and he just leaves the team to this kid. So right away, you can probably tell, Brody, that this was like a fantasy of mine. Like before this movie came out, as a young boy, when I was growing up playing baseball in my backyard, the dream was to play in the big leagues, but also, owning a team. Sure. Why not? And then this kid just gets handed the keys to the kingdom at 12, and he gets to man it. He puts himself in as manager. He's 12 years old. He's managing in the big leagues, bro.
What year did this come out?
This was 94.
Oh, and that cover makes it look like it's from the 50s. Oh. That poster right there? It's like it's like a Disney movie from the 50s.
This was not a popular film. Not an easy one to find pictures or like stills from, or like backgrounds or posters of. Not a lot of fan art for the Little Big League. But I'm here to stump for my picture. This one I was on and off my list a bunch, but I just thought it'd be fun to talk about. Look. Appearances by Ken Griffey Jr., Mickey Tettleton, Lou Piniella, Vaughn Rodriguez, Sandy Alomar Jr., Carlos Baerga, Alex Fernandez, Randy Johnson, Wally Joyner, Dave Magadan, Paul O'Neill. The list goes on and on and on. Just all these wonderful baseball players from my youth, all in this movie that was like just already like this fantasy of mine.
So they thought this was going to be a big movie, putting all those people in.
Well, they're just baseball players making a cameo. Look, the old adage that athletes want to be actors and actors want to be athletes. I think there's some truth. Everyone wants to be a rock star except for the rock stars who would rather play rock and softball or in the basketball. We always want to be the grass and greener, et cetera, et cetera. But so they make cameos and like they got some like former major leaguers to play some of the team. Like Kevin Elster was a shortstop for the Mets back in the day. He plays a role in this. Like they get some like you don't have to. I've already lost. Everyone's already stopped watching the video.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I promise. I'll stop talking about Kevin Elster as a pull.
I knew that one.
Hey.
Was
I'm proud of
Jose
you for that.
Canseco in it?
No, he was not.
Jose Canseco.
No, but Tim Raines was. All right, but anyway, this was it wasn't like not a great movie, but it's a fun movie for a baseball fan. There are certain movies on this list that I think require a certain degree of love of the source material, the sport. All stories are basically, you can boil them down to certain elements. They're comedies, they're rom-coms, they're dramas, whatever. And you can kind of have these different like plots that kind of cross over, whatever. And then there's different vehicles in which those stories are delivered. In this case, our list is talking about sports movies. And it really helps if you love the sport. If you don't like baseball, if you're not geeking out about some of the, the cameos and some of like the jargon and just some of like the inside baseball stuff, you will hate this movie. There are a few on my list that I think you will still enjoy even if you don't like the sport, but this is just not one of them. But this one just makes me feel like a kid again anytime I think about it. And it is one that if it were on anywhere, I would definitely watch it. I'd plop down and there'd just be a childlike joy beaming for me as I went through it. Simpler times, bro. Simpler times. So Little Big League, this kid did not have a career, but he did get to be in this movie. So I will be forever jealous of him.
There you go. All right, that's Charlie's number 10. Number 9, my number 9, what is it? I don't know. It is Cool Runnings.
Cool Run. All right, this one is on my list.
What?
A little bit higher.
Whoa.
If you would like to wait.
All right. I didn't think this would be on your list.
It's a good movie.
It is a good
It almost wasn't. I put it on like about 30 seconds, I think, before I emailed the final list to your wife.
Okay. So. All right, well, we will talk about this one. It's going to be a short video. Apparently, we've got a lot of crossovers.
All crossover, baby.
All right, there you go. I don't know what movie that is.
Oh, yeah. You don't know what movie this is. And you want to know why you don't know what movie this is, Brody? Because it doesn't
have a title on the poster?
It's called Long Gone.
It's called great marketing.
This was a made-for-HBO movie that came out in, like, I think, 87 or something like that. And I saw it as a kid. And just fell in love with the movie. And it'd be on rotation. I'd watch it again and again.
Young Charlie just watching HBO. Watching things right? That no. What is Charlie watching? I don't know. Some movie on HBO.
Shut up. But yes, it's true. All right. Young Dermot Mulroney. Hey, William Peterson passed on playing the lead role in Platoon to be in this made-for-TV baseball movie.
Really?
We got
wow.
Yeah. And to add insult to injury, this movie does not exist on anything but VHS and Laserdisc. And so like there's right now someone's watching this that bought this movie on Laserdisc, and everyone made fun of him for having Laserdisc, and they are laughing at me right now because they can go into their beautiful Laserdisc home movie theater and pop on Long Gone on Laserdisc and enjoy it. I can't watch it. It doesn't exist. It's not on HBO Max.
How weird.
It's an HBO movie. They don't have it in rotation anywhere. It never debuted on DVD. So it's not like it was on DVD and then got out of circulation. It was on VHS, briefly on Laserdisc, and then long gone, apparently, forever.
Odd.
So William Peterson passes on Platoon to be in this fantastic movie. The movie barely gets rotation. And then to add insult to injury, Tom Berenger, who played the role that he passed on, gets to be in Major League a couple of years later. So arguably an even better baseball movies. But, he's cashing those CSI checks. He doesn't care.
There you go.
He's doing just fine. But this was a really good movie. And I would be probably higher on my list if I could watch it. So I know a lot of HBO execs watch this podcast.
It's true.
If you could just send me a copy. You could DM me, give me a print of this on something. Send me a Laserdisc player and a Laserdisc. Heck, send me a VCR and a VHS. I would love to watch this again. If you ever get a chance to run into this, maybe it's pirated on some site. Watch it. It's fantastic. It deals with a lot of serious issues, also a lot of levity. If you like Bull Durham, you will love this. It's a lot of the same. So
what's this called
there's
again?
Long Gone. Long Gone.
Oh, you made a long gone joke. I just got that.
I did. Yeah.
That's odd that it's not even on HBO.
It's so frustrating. I don't understand.
Maybe
this. I don't know if there's whatever licensing issues, but it's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Licensing thing someplace. Odd.
You can look at it. You'll find like a bunch of articles written about how it's the best baseball movie you've never seen.
Is that Bette Midler?
It's true. No. Which him? That's Dermot Mulroney.
No, the girl in the poster.
Virginia Madsen.
Oh, that was my next guess. All right, number 8. What is my number 8? Right before Cool Runnings.
It's going to be another one of mine, apparently.
I think I know. Oh yeah, Warrior. Did you ever see this one, Charlie?
This is on my list higher.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna say you had 7 baseball movies on your list. There's no way that
spoilers.
That was just a guess. I don't know.
All right.
7 out of the 10, probably.
Probably.
Okay, so it's an MMA movie, right? Those are 2 brothers. This came out in like
2 brothers.
2 brothers into the octagon. This came out like right around when Dark Knight Rises came out, which also had Tom Hardy, obviously. And so I think I was...
I manage me pain. Now play.
Very painful for you. And so I was really interested in just seeing like another Tom Hardy movie. And so this, I don't remember how I saw it. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it like after it came out. Maybe I might have seen it on like Netflix when it was still the discs. But it was really good. It's pretty drama-y. That's one thing that I kind of get a feel with a lot of the sports movies. Or a lot of them are dramas. It's like something really bad happens and it's really sad, and then the team or the person's got to overcome it. And so maybe that's why I don't watch a whole lot of sports movies. And this one is really not much different. One of them is a war vet and he comes back and there's all this family drama, and dad's an alcoholic, and they both kind of enter this tournament and they both have to fight each other at the end of the tournament. But it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And I do have like an interest in the MMA stuff, and so it was fun to watch, and it was enjoyable, even though it was depressing. But
does Tom Hardy end up breaking his brother's back?
No.
Okay, that's just the Batman movie.
That's just Batman. Yeah, he doesn't break someone's back in every movie, Charlie.
I thought that was in his writer. Like every movie that he's in, he gets to break someone's back.
Breaks someone's back.
That'd be.
I'm in this romantic comedy, doggone it, but
so
I
great.
need to break somebody's back.
Yeah, like, and some guy comes over and starts disrespecting him on a date, and he just breaks someone's back in a bar scene randomly, and then goes back. So anyway, tell me more about your day. That'd be great. Tom Hardy, and starring in Can't Hardly Wait, a rom-com.
There you go.
I'm pitching it. I'm pitching it to Netflix later this week.
There you go. But this was good. I did enjoy it. It's a good one.
All right, you ready? Number 8.
I'm ready.
I hope you're ready and warm, because
here we
now
go.
you get we talk a little Cool
Runnings.
All right, since you were about to talk about it, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Okay, so I saw this movie in theaters a long time ago. I was
old man.
I was a kid, and I was like, oh man, a John Candy movie. I want to see a John Candy movie. Those are always hilarious. And I remember like not really getting it, and it got kind of sad in some parts. And so I remember like not really liking it as a kid when I saw it in theaters. And then just a few months ago, we were doing our Friday night movie night with the kids, and Amy was like, we're going to watch Cool Runnings because it's on Disney Plus. And so I was like, all right. Not like super excited to watch it, but it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. It's funny. John Candy's great. We watched a little bit on like the real story, because it's based like based on a true story, like loosely, really, really loosely based on a true story.
Although they did use actual footage from like the bobsled crash, the Jamaican bobsled.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
So yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it. They should have made a sequel.
Wow. I mean, John Candy died, so there was that. This was the last movie, like last full movie he made. So this was 93, and then he died in 94 while filming like Wagons East
Wild West or
whatever
something like that.
Yeah.
Not Wild West. Some sort of western.
It's Wagons something. All right. Okay.
No, it's
come on.
something west.
Come on now.
It's not Wild
Wagons.
West.
It is Wagons East, as I stated.
Oh, Wagons East.
Wagons East, and then Canadian Bacon came out later, but I think he had a small role in that. I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, so they didn't really have a chance, unfortunately, because he was gone too soon. Man, John Candy's great.
For sure.
Also, Leon, I just thought was like, when I was a kid, I just thought he was the coolest actor in the entire world.
All these guys are cool.
Oz. Oh, they are. Dougie Doug will make he's in another movie that will be making an appearance later on. Spoiler alert. But yeah, this is a really fun movie. I went back and forth because I was thinking originally I wanted to get one movie from each of the big four sports.
Okay.
So I get baseball, football, basketball, and a hockey movie on there. I ended up going in a different direction, and then I ended up putting this one on there because I started thinking, okay, what would I watch
baseball
today?
movies. This is your one non-baseball movie.
Legitimately, I could have gone. If you ever want me to do a solo podcast on like the top 30 baseball movies that I've ever seen, you just let me know. You in the comments below, let me know if anyone out there would be interested in like a top 20 baseball movies or top 25 or something list.
We'll see. Maybe when I go on vacation next.
A lot of heat. I think we actually I just heard we just lost. This is just and we just lost 2 subscribers. We're back down to 20.
No!
So I promise I won't do it. But yeah, this is a really fun movie, and it's it takes some liberties and stuff. I know, like in real life, they were met with open arms, but that by other bobsled teams and stuff, and that wouldn't really make as good of an underdog movie. But it's funny. It's got good heart. I miss John Candy.
It is.
I miss the old JC.
It's funny. It's not quite like the slapstick that I think I was expecting when I was a kid. Kind of going in for like a John Candy movie. I'm coming off of like Spaceballs and things like that. And so it had heart, and it was
for sure.
It was good.
It's good stuff. All right, so on to number 7.
Number 7. What's my number 7? I think I know. Nope, that's not what I thought it was. But that works. Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
You get karates and tournaments. It's great.
Yep.
I watched this a few years ago with the kids. It's a little slow, but I loved this as a kid. Like this was like such a cool movie when I was a kid, and just going through the trainings, and you got cool Mr. Miyagi, and you got cool Danielson, and you got like just great. Like the bad guys that wore black, and they like they cheated and all sorts of stuff. So this was great when I was a kid. It's kind of like resurfaced a little bit with the Cobra Kai stuff. I haven't watched any of the Cobra Kai stuff, but
okay, all right, Brody. If you loved the Karate Kid, which you're claiming to, you got it on your list above Little Big League.
Number 7.
Yeah, out of top 10. You left Little Big League off your list. You left Long Gone off your list. I mean, you should watch Cobra Kai. Is all I'm saying. I think you'll enjoy it.
I would like to.
If you like.
I would like to. I got a lot that I'm watching right now, Charlie. I'm keeping busy.
Would it surprise you to know that I saw this on HBO when I was a kid?
Nope.
Actually, oddly enough, I still remember the first time I ever watched this. I was homesick, and I missed school, and I was watching HBO by myself upstairs. We had this room that had kind of like an L-shaped sofa, and it was kind of like our media room, I guess, for lack of a better term back then. It was old school. It had like this blue or red. I think it was blue shag carpet. It was gross. It was a terrible room. But I was doing crane kicks. I mean, I was sick, and like by the end of the movie, I'm like jumping off the couch and just crane kicking everything in the room, throwing pillows up in the air, and I'm just crane kicking them.
The crane kick was so cool.
It was so fun. It was great.
Cool. So cool.
I mean, very impractical in a fight, but
A little predictable, you know. I mean,
But I practiced my jump and spin kicks. This started me on a lifelong pursuit of not actually learning how to do karate properly, but always thinking in the back of my mind that I could.
sure. But yeah, this is an enjoyable one. I like this one. They kind of went downhill. I think. I don't think any of the sequels were good at all.
Watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, number 7 for Charlie.
Number 7.
White Men Can't Jump.
So this was a Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson vehicle back in the early '90s. I saw this one in theaters, too young.
I was going to say, how did you see this in theaters, Charlie?
Dom Garino, my buddy Jason Garino's dad, took me and Jason to see this back in the day. Shout out to you, Jason Garino. If you're, I lost track of him after junior high. We were good friends, and then all of a sudden not friends at all, and that bums me out. I still remember being at his house, and he's looking at his vocab, and the word gammon came up, and it was like a street kid or a street urchin. And so I still remember the definition of that, because then he was like Jason the Gammon, we called him. Anyway, Garino, thank you for showing me this movie, because it was awesome. It's sassy, it is fun, it is irreverent, it is hilarious, and it is basketball. But as much as I love baseball, it's my favorite sport. When I was a kid, I played a ton of basketball. We had a hoop in my house, and every day I would go out and I would just shoot hundreds of baskets I marked off like distances with tape. For like a free throw distance, a 3-point distance, and I put them in different parts of our driveway, and I would shoot 100 at each spot and just rotate around the yard, and then I would go and I had basketball games I played by myself, and anyway I had a whole system for how I played sports by myself. I was a lonely kid. We've talked about this. We've covered. We don't need to rehash my loneliness. But anyway, this movie is really fun. Brody, have you seen this movie?
I have. Not enough times to be. This is one of those ones where I'm like, I know I've seen it once or twice, and it's been a while, and so I don't know that I can like. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I can like put it on a list, because I just haven't seen it that many times.
So there's sports movies that do the sports stuff really well. And there's sports movies that sometimes do like just everything but the sports really well. Like Remember the Titans, which didn't make my list largely because of like it's a really good movie. Like it really like it's inspirational. It's really good. Like the storytelling is good. All the football stuff in it is just horrible. They just have like scenes of football that just the sports that just doesn't exist. And so if you're not a fan of football and you're watching that, you're just gonna walk away feeling good. And then when you're watching it and as oh man, like okay, this is so unrealistic. The sports stuff, the basketball stuff in this movie is really good. Like the actual like gameplay footage is really fun. Like getting to see it out in Venice and just getting to see this style of basketball played is really fun. The trash talk, the chemistry between Wesley and Woody is just off the charts, and it is. I still enjoy it. And Rosie Perez is fantastic. The Jeopardy stuff is so hilarious. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's good.
There you go.
Dougie Doug is in this. He makes it.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string from Burger King, I believe, is
there you go.
from Dougie Doug from this one.
He had his character.
Yeah. No eggs in this one.
The eggs were really funny. All right, number 6. Okay, I think this is the one that I think I've been waiting for like twice. Yep. All right. Bloodsport.
Hey, it's got sport in the title right there.
Sport in the title. You can't argue with that.
It says it right there. I can't.
This is great. This is another like based on a true story. But this one, man, did I enjoy this movie when I was young.
Oh yeah.
Man, like the fighting was so cool. And I think I enjoyed Bloodsport more than Kickboxer, which was kind of the other like Van Damme fighting tournament.
Yeah, this was better. I mean, cheesy, but
yeah, like he had like his friend that got beat up, and you got like like the jump kick thing is just like so cool. This is like probably one of my favorite Van Dammes is Bloodsport. The fights are super cool. You've got like just a nice story. It's kind of a loose story, like there's not a whole lot to it. You got like some of the training montages and things like that. But yeah, this is a great one.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of like fighting, apparently. A lot of fighting sports.
Yeah. Hey, we what we love is what we watch. So Brody loves breaking people's backs.
I do.
I love I love playing with balls. So what we want to do is tell a quick story from my childhood. You're welcome. So when I was a kid, surprisingly enough, watched this on HBO with some friends, and they like to go out in the grass. Like, so you remember where I used to live as a kid and then there was like that area by the train tracks.
Yeah.
So they would go out in the fields there, and it was like even like wheat and stuff just coming up. It was like really overgrown with brush, and they would just kick each other in the face.
Jeez.
And they would just do blood sport, and they would just And I opted out of the actual real life blood sport because I think I weighed like 62 pounds. Yeah. I never had an urge to be in a fight club. I didn't have the beard for it as a child, so I stayed away. But I just remember like they got in trouble at one point, and my mom was like, "You can't play with those boys." Blood sport, Mom. They're just having a blood sport. What's the big deal?
Also, this had like one of the greatest villains. I can't even remember his name, but he's just like super buff, and he just does that like all the time.
One of the greatest villains. I mean, I don't know who he is, but he was great.
But he's iconic in my mind. He's iconic.
Well, I feel like you should just
he like
learn
broke
his name.
The guy's back.
Well, no, you're thinking of Tom Hardy.
No, this is another Breaking Back.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to see if the actor's name was on the thing.
Chong Li was the character. The actor's name is Bolo Young.
There you go. Thank you. Now I'm informed.
You're welcome.
This is a great one. Go watch this one. If you haven't seen this one, go watch. It's great. Make you cry. All right, Charlie, you're number 6.
My number 6. Dun, 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 dun,
The
dun,
Sandlot.
dun.
This was my number 10.
Yeah. All right. Talk about it, bro.
It's a good movie. It's a fun kids movie.
Hey. Whoa.
It's a kids movie.
Shots fired across the bow. Wow.
What do you mean?
Wow. Just because it's appropriate to watch with children does not make it a child's movie. I mean, you've shown your kids RoboCop. Would you call that a kids movie?
I mean, kids movie as in
was I not supposed to say that? If Amy's watching this, I'm so sorry. He has not shown the kids RoboCop yet.
Dude, my wife would know if my kids saw RoboCop because they would be quoting that movie because it's amazing. My kids would be walking around saying, "I'd buy that for $1."
Is that where that's from?
Yes. Go watch RoboCop. I call it a kids movie because all the actors are kids. It's a kid-led movie. I don't know. What do you want from me?
Yeah, James Earl Jones, famously a child in this movie. Dennis Leary, famously a child in this movie. Benny the Jet Rodriguez,
roles.
when he's growing up and stealing home, famously a child in this movie.
Minor roles. The main character.
James Earl Jones is not a. What about the dog? Are you going to call that a minor role?
No. I don't know. It's a good movie. I enjoy it.
All right.
And it's got baseball, and it's got kids, and they're funny, and You're Killing Me Smalls, and it's a good one. It's my number.
Just stop.
It's my
you
number
hate this
10.
movie.
It's my number 10.
I'm starting to realize as I'm listening to you talk that this was just the last sports movie that you could think of. So you put it on your list at number 10. You stuck it in there. You don't like the movie. You hate the movie. You just couldn't think of one more fighting film. So you put this on your list. Well, too bad, Brody. It's a good movie and you should watch it again. Have you even shown your kids this? Have you shown your children this movie? No, Brody. Look. I'm sassing you. I got this at 6. It's not like it's my number 1 or anything, but I will always have a place in my heart for this movie. Not so much the sequels. I know there are, I think, two sequels to Sandlot, and I don't think I've seen either of them, and I'm probably just going to go ahead and ride out the rest of my days having not seen the sequels and feeling good about that. But this was a great movie, and it made me really I saw this when I was younger, obviously, and it made me really jealous. I wish that I'd had a group of friends that I could be playing baseball with. I used to play one-on-one baseball with a couple of my buddies. You didn't play baseball with me when I was a kid. Come on, we didn't even know each other when I was a kid. We met too late in life.
I know, we were teenagers.
But you will notice that when in the time that I did know you, I kind of went out of my way to like create this kind of camaraderie with people our age in our teen, like late teens and 20s. You know, we playing volleyball with like 20 people on a sand court and having fun.
Yeah.
You know, look, the kind of camaraderie that you can have with a team. You know, I play in a slow pitch softball league with a lot of friends, and we still quote this movie. You know, every now and then. I just got sandlotted last Thursday on a deep fly ball to right field, and it's like, you know, glove out, head a different direction, ball in the glove. You know, it happens sometimes. You know, it just the great Hambino. If you have this movie, there's probably a sweet spot of age where people have seen it.
I didn't see it as a kid. I probably saw it with you the first time I saw it.
Yeah, and I can understand if you didn't play baseball, especially if you didn't play baseball growing up. That there's going to be like, and if you didn't see it as a kid, and you didn't play baseball growing up, I can really understand how this movie just might completely miss you. Not for everyone, but
it's good.
If you enjoy playing baseball as a kid, if you enjoy just seeing movies with funny, like Stand By Me without the dead body, you know, this is it's kind of like free. It's good. No, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like Stand By Me without like the drama, without the angst, you know, like with the kid. That was another children's movie, Stand By Me, because, you know, it had kids in it. So
I saw it as a kid. Sure, it's a kid.
So did I, but what you and I saw as kids is not the barometer that we will measure kids' movies with. Because by that logic, Bloodsport is a kids' movie. All right, so that's my number 6. Moving on.
There you go, number 6. All right, number 5.
Top 5.
What is my number 5? What is it? It is. I know my top 3.
Is it Ready to Rumble?
No. I don't know. We're just gonna move.
Is it The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke?
Real Steel.
Was not gonna get there. Was not a million guesses. Brody would not have gotten there.
It's robot boxing.
I have never heard of this movie. What is this movie?
You've never even heard of it? Oh man, I saw this in theaters and I enjoyed it. And then I just watched it like a couple weeks ago with my kids. And I still really enjoyed it. Like, I finished and I was like...
So it's a kid's movie. That's good.
It's got a kid in it. Hugh Jackman's got a kid. Stop with the kid movie thing. It's going to get annoying, Charlie.
Sorry.
You're going to call everything a kid's movie. No, this is...
Maybe.
This is... I really enjoyed this movie. It's...
Okay.
You know, it's boxing, and so it's the future, and...
Can I ask you just a quick question as someone who's never seen the movie?
Sure.
Is he controlling a robot with like, is this like BattleBots where he's got like a remote control and he's controlling, or is he like in a robot suit? Like how does this work?
He controls with a controller.
Okay.
And then his robot also has like shadowing. And so there comes to a part of the film where like the controller gets busted, and so he has to walk around the ring and do the swings and stuff himself.
Okay.
But it's really fun. It's like, it's robot boxing. It's the future. They've outlawed like human fighting, and so they have the robots to do it. And so you have like souped up robots, and he's a robot controller guy, and then he, you know, gets stuck with his kid after like the mom just like dies off screen in a car accident.
What year was this? Have I seen this? That sounds familiar all of a sudden. What year was this?
This came out 2012.
Oh no, 2011. No,
2011.
No. Okay, different movie.
And so like he's got his kid, and so he and his kid like bond over, you know, this robot, and they find this robot, and then it ends up like they get, you know, they're just going through like exhibitions and like working their way up the ranks, and then they go and they get to fight like the champion, and it's really fun. You know, the robot stuff, like the special effects are really good. And it's cool. I really like Hugh Jackman, and so that helps as well. You know, that he's just a charming fella.
Is he singing this?
I don't think so. No, he's
missed opportunity.
He's kind of a jerk in this one.
No, okay.
But yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. And so it's the little underdog training bot that is able to go and fight the champion. And no spoilers. I won't spoil the end. You should watch it. It's on Netflix. It's a good one.
Oh, okay.
My kids really liked it, and I really enjoyed it as well.
Okay. Very nice.
All right.
Number 5.
61.
61. So this is a Billy Crystal directed film, and I had to get a Billy Crystal mention in. So
of course, it's not a
drink.
Talk Punch episode without a Billy Crystal reference.
So this is about the Roger Maris Mickey Mantle home run chase, and Maris's record-breaking single-season home run before the McGuire Sosa stuff and all that exploded Barry Bonds and exploded the single-season record. But
Jose Canseco.
No, but good reference. There was his
he
book.
hit home runs.
He did. Like 500 or 485 of them or something.
I don't know how you know that off the top of your head.
Oh gosh, you know what? Sadly, before my brain was mushed, I could tell you the exact number of home runs that like the top 25 players hit. My brain is kind of mushed out, but Canseco didn't make it to the 500 club. But anyway, well, the juice ran out, if you will. But yeah, this is Barry Pepper, who I have an irrational love of. Okay. He hasn't been in enough movies for me to like really care about him as deeply as I do. Oh, Barry.
He should get into the MCU.
And then Thomas Jane, and there's actually a really good cast all the way around. It's a good movie, and it's if you like baseball, if you're invested at all in the history of the game, I think this really comes to life a lot more. But I don't think you need to be to enjoy this movie. I think there's enough interesting human element to this as like a one-off watch. I'm not professing that it would be like your favorite like film ever, but if you're not a baseball fan, but you like just, interesting character stories, the idea of Mickey Mantle as like the golden boy of New York, but, also struggling with his knees and alcohol and then Roger Maris, like a country boy who just wants to play the game, but is just getting like just people hating on him for approaching this kind of sacred record by Babe Ruth. A lot of sacred cows in sports. Anyway, I could talk. I'll save it for my solo baseball pod. But this one is unlike a lot of the other ones on my list. This one is easy to find. It's on HBO Max. It's worth a watch. It's. I think that there's enough
is it
interesting.
A drama?
Yeah, I mean it's not like a comedy, but but
it's not. Like
what do you call a movie? It's not an action movie. It's not. We'll call it a drama, but it's not like dramatic per se. It's not like a tearjerker. It's not like a Lou Gehrig's story or and the band played on or somewhere where people are dying of cancer or ALS or anything like that. It's got some funny moments. It's got plenty of baseball. It's got some interesting character development. It's got some heart. And it's just it's based on a true story, obviously. So it's interesting little peek. Billy Crystal's a huge Yankees fan. Big baseball guy, and I think he really does a really nice job kind of framing this movie, and it's worth seeing. So if you haven't checked it out, watch it.
There you go. 61 asterisk. Is that what you say?
There's a reason.
Oh, there's a reason.
No, you just call it 61. There's a reason why the asterisk's there, and you have to watch the movie. Read about the history of it, and I won't spoil it.
All right. My number 4. Okay. I know my number 1. I know my number 2. Okay, I know what this is.
It's my ready to rumble.
4. No, close. It's The Wrestler.
Hey, The Wrestler. I was wondering if this is gonna be on your list. I said The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke earlier.
This is an interesting movie, right? Because this is kind of like the Joker film, right? Where I saw this in theaters, and you walk out and you're like, that was a really well-made movie. I don't think I ever want to watch it again.
Okay, that's what you're saying.
And that's how I felt with this movie, especially because I do love professional wrestling so much, and it's like sadly I've seen like the guys that I was watching when I was a kid, like you see them go through really similar stuff, and you see
Right.
the memes, like, oh, Virgil is at another convention, like, giving out autographs for $20 and nobody's in line. And it's kind of like this, Virgil. But it's like, oh man, like a lot of those guys that were wrestling in the 80s and 90s, like they just got like dropped from wrestling and don't really have much else. And it's really sad. This was a really sad movie. And maybe it was like extra sad because I've seen kind of this with other wrestlers that I watched when I was a kid. But it was also really well made. And so I wanted to put this on my list because I am such a big wrestling fan. And it is a really good movie. I don't think I ever want to watch this again though.
Yeah.
It's really depressing. Like it's
Yeah.
really sad. Really sad.
Yeah, it's good. It is good, but it is sad.
Yeah. So there you go. There is my number 4, The Wrestler, when Mickey Rourke was kind of having his resurgence back into this is kind of what brought him back for a bit, and then he took off again. But
It's funny. He was just tweeting out like during the pandemic, he just discovered that this little upstart TV show called Law and Order, and he was like, "Law and Order, this is great," and he's like tweeting out stuff like about the first season of Law and Order. Well, look at these performances by Law and Order. Like, where have you been all this time? What a great little show. So if you're interested in check out Mickey Rourke's Twitter feed and enjoy him enjoying Law and Order for the very first time.
And Mickey Rourke was great in this, and he had like
really good in this.
He had like the perfect look to this. He's just his look and the way he did it was really good. So there you go. My number 4, The Wrestler.
The Wrestler.
All right, Charlie, you're number 4.
My number 4.
I'm gonna guess what it is.
Oh, you are? Okay. I was about to click the background. I won't.
I'm guessing it's a baseball movie.
It is a baseball movie.
I'm guessing.
What do you got for me? Come on. You got this. I'm sending it to you. I'm sending you the name in my mind. Come on, you got this.
A League of Their Own.
Wow, look at
Really?
you.
That was a total guess. That was a guess. That was honestly a guess.
If I hold my head like this, does it look like Tom Hanks is touching me?
Kinda.
I love you, Tom.
This was almost on my list.
Wow, I can't believe it didn't make your list. It's very sad. Sad for you, Brody.
This is another one that like I loved this movie as a kid, but I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
Holds up.
Does it? Okay.
It does. And this is one, if you have not seen it.
My kids.
You should. If you have not, you do not have to like baseball in the slightest to enjoy this movie. This is, I think, out of all the movies on my list, maybe this one and maybe one other one where just you could have never seen a baseball game in your entire life. You don't have to know the rules. You don't have to know any of the jargon or any of the behind the scenes inside jokes, any of that stuff, to just really appreciate an incredibly well done movie. Really well cast, really well acted, great script. Penny Marshall knocked it out of the park. Can we say that? The whole thing. I just remember seeing it's very quotable, right? And sure. I saw it when it came out, and I just I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was great. And then I've revisited it at several different points in my life, just for different reasons, and each time it's like a little bit of a different viewing experience because I'm getting older, and my life circumstances are changing. So each time, it's like, oh, this is great. Like I just connect to it in a different way, and we still quote this one on my softball team. Lay off the high ones. I like the high ones. And obviously the no crying in baseball is some great speeches. Anyway, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, watch it. This one is pretty easy to find as well, and I strongly recommend it. Tom Hanks is just fantastic.
Is this streaming anywhere?
It's got to be. I saw it recently, so it has to be somewhere. Although I do own it on DVD, so that's a possibility.
This had great Gina Davis.
Yeah, Gina Davis is awesome, and Lori Petty was really good in this. Even Madonna and Rosie O'Donnell give arguably their 2 greatest acting performances of their life. Not a high bar, but a bar nonetheless.
All right. Yeah, this was really close to making my list. It's just that I hadn't seen it in so long.
I don't know if you recognize Bitty Schramp. She was on the show Monk. If you
didn't watch
watched Monk.
Didn't watch it.
Imagine.
All right, number 3. I know what my number 3 is, Charlie.
Is it Ready to Rumble? Yeah, I knew it was going to be on there.
Okay. Is this a good movie? No. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It doesn't hold up. It lived a nice life in the early 2000s, and it should probably stay there. But out of all the movies on my list, I might have seen this one the most. And so I had to put it on my list. Does it make sense? Heck no. Heck no, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't even make sense in connecting to the professional wrestling that it was promoting. Because you had guys like Diamond Dallas Page, who was the bad guy in the movie, and yet when David Arquette showed up in WCW, he was helping out David Arquette. It didn't even make sense. They couldn't even like adjust the storylines in WCW to line up with the promotional stuff of the movie. But it is funny. And it does make me laugh.
But
you know, like Oliver Platt is the main wrestler of the movie. Is there any, like, of all the actors in Hollywood, Oliver Platt is the main wrestler of the movie. You know, and David Arquette, this arguably led to like one of the worst angles in wrestling with him winning the WCW World Championship. It's not good. It's not good. But I watched it a lot. I've watched this movie a ton. It was like very WCW, and I was watching a lot of WCW, Monday Night Wars and all that stuff. And so I enjoyed it. It had a lot of wrestlers in it, that were just kind of coming in and helping, and none of it matched up with what was going on in the televised wrestling. But yeah, I had to put it on my list. I had to. I couldn't not.
Yeah. Famously, it's got Scott Conn in it, who is best known as looking like our friend Tudong.
It's true. Yep. We always talk about Tudong. There he is, right there.
There he is, right there. That's him. Do you
so
want to
yeah.
guess what my number 3 is? You're not going to get it.
We're just moving on. That's it.
Oh, did you have more? Did you have more?
Do you have anything to add about
I've nothing to add to Ready to Rumble.
Nothing.
I don't remember. I know you showed it to me once.
I'm sure I showed it to you multiple times.
I couldn't. If you asked me to describe the plot for money, I think that I would fail miserably outside of just wild guesses. Did they need to wrestle to earn money or something to save something? I don't remember.
Oliver Platt got fired because the promoter was a bad guy, and so they had to get Oliver Platt back his job. And so to do that, they had to wrestle a wrestling match.
I love Oliver Platt. That's Oliver Platt's arm. He got jacked for this movie. So
didn't really, but
he got like funny, Marvel movie shape.
Funny story about this movie. Okay, I saw this in theaters. Obviously, and in the middle of the movie, the fire alarm went off. Right, everybody got up and evacuated. I stayed. I really wanted to see what was going on, so I stayed.
I will burn alive for this movie.
And then about 10 minutes later, everybody came back in, and I was like, "You guys are all suckers. You just missed 10 minutes of this movie." I saw it all. I saw it all.
So what are the movies that you would be willing to be burned alive to see? Let us know in a list below if Ready to Rumble would make your list of, oh yeah, I'd die for that.
All right.
I love my top 10, but I would not be lit on fire for any of them.
I didn't see the flames.
All right.
All right, Charlie, your number 3.
My number 3 is the ever classic, ever quoted, ever loved Bull Durham.
I knew this would be on your list. I knew it.
You could have guessed it, and you would have been right. This is a fantastic scene right here, discussing all sorts of fun things on the mound. Look, the minor league experience I never quite made it to the minors. I could have, I could have. In a different life, in a different timeline, in a world with infinite timelines, I shouldn't say world, in a universe with infinite timelines. There's definitely a timeline in which I was at least a minor league baseball player. Charlie Piano Legs Hickman played in the major leagues in the turn, like right around the early 1900s. So I feel like there's a reincarnation element. I don't know. Somewhere there's a me who played in the minors. This is a fantastic movie. I watched this. I wore this out as a kid. Costner's been in a lot of baseball movies, but this is definitely the best. For the Love of the Game did not make my list. No golf movies. Anyway, we'll talk at the end. But this movie makes me laugh. This movie makes me love baseball, and it is a good film. And I haven't seen this one in the last 5 to 6 years. I'd be curious to watch it again and just see how it's holding up. Kick the tires and check in on it. So maybe that's what I'll do. But it's my number 3, not my number 1. But I do really like it.
There you go. All right. I think I watched that with you. Maybe once.
I do think loving baseball helps sell that movie. So if you're not into the sport, I can understand that. Sure. There's a romance of baseball that's presented in that movie that that I fully embrace as someone who has a romantic link to baseball in my personal history. I can understand if you don't have that, if you just think the game's boring, which I understand. The game's so long.
I don't think
I'm not saying you specifically, just the general world out there.
I thought you were talking specifically to me.
No, like A League of Their Own, you can watch it. You don't need to love baseball. I do think that there's a certain romance of the game in Bull Durham that's presented that maybe you watch it anyway, but how well it lands with you might have to do with that.
There you go.
On we go.
All right, my number 2. I know what my number 2 is. It's Rocky 3. Now, I thought a lot about which Rocky I wanted to put on here. And it's tough. It's tough. The first couple ones are pretty good. And then I finally came down to Rocky 3. You got like the full bad guy with Clubber Lang, right? Mr. T. You get the Hulk Hogan Thunderlips sequence, where Rocky goes and does a professional wrestling match, and so that type of stuff. I was like, okay, I think that Rocky 3 is probably my favorite, because you have the bad guy, you've got sequences like Thunderlips. The first one is really more of a drama. They started getting more kind of movie-ish, I think, as they went.
Sure.
Rocky 4 was I enjoyed that one too. But Rocky 3, I'm talking about Rocky 3. It's great. You kind of get through the Rocky Apollo stuff with the first couple, and then you just go into like pure bad guy with Mr. T, right? And Mr. T is so cool. He's just cool, right? And like
hard to argue with that.
And Rocky has to do the training. You get all the Rocky training montages, which is great. And then he goes up and he fights Mr. T. It's great. If you haven't seen the Rockies, watch the Rockies. That's something I wouldn't mind doing. I wouldn't mind going back and watching all the Rockies again.
Have you watched the Creeds?
Okay, here's the thing. I really want to watch the Creeds. Amazon Prime has Creed 2 streaming for free, but nobody has Creed 1 streaming for free. Doggone it. I can't go and watch the second one. I need the first one first. Somebody stream Creed, please, so I can watch it. Doggone it. That's me getting angry. Because I'll go and like search for it, and Creed 2 pops up as free, and I'm like, are you for real? So I have not seen the Creeds. Are they good?
I have not seen them either. There was a Rocky Balboa, and then was there a Rocky Balboa 2? Or did it go straight from Rocky Balboa to Creed?
No, I think it went from Rocky Balboa, because it went Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and then Rocky 5, and then Rocky Balboa, and then I believe that after that was Creed, and then Creed 2.
I when I was a kid, I I enjoyed the Rockies, and I went through phases where I was really into them.
I'm pretty sure we did a marathon at some point.
Yeah, probably, and I probably was geeked up. The music's fun, and it's Stallone and all that good stuff. I just don't really, I don't know. I'm sure the Creeds are great. I don't know. I saw Rocky Balboa. I think at some point, eventually, like many moons after it
I
had,
didn't
had
really
premiered.
like. I didn't.
And I
really
was
like
like,
Rocky Balboa as much.
eh.
I really didn't like Rocky Five.
Rocky Five was just hot garbage.
I didn't like that at all.
I would love to see the Creeds, and it's the same thing with you. Like they're just they're not, the first one's not streaming, so I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I'd like to watch it. I just have I was just curious if you'd seen him and liked him. I've heard really good things about him, so
Yeah.
at some point I'm check him out. I don't know. Boxing movies are fine. I'm not a big boxing guy.
Plus, and correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie. It's Rocky 3 that has the Rocky and Apollo training sequence on the beach, right?
I'm gonna say yes here.
I'm pretty sure
But
it
understand
is.
that I am just agreeing with you, and I don't have like it's certainly not 4, because 4 he's training like
He's
in
he's
tundra.
in Russia, and 1 and 2 they were fighting each other. So
Yeah, I can't imagine they were training
I'm
together,
pretty positive that it was this one. What a great sequence! What a great montage! Training on the beach.
Yeah, Rocky did
and
montages
Apollo.
right.
Oh my goodness, so good, so.
I'm
good.
still bitter. I'm still bitter about Rocky 4. How they did Apollo like that. It's not cool.
So sad.
I'm still grumpy about that. All right, shall we deuce it up?
All right, your number 2 is
My number 2 is, and you should already know this.
Happy Gilmore.
Oh, God.
Wrong,
All right,
Adam
my number
Sandler.
2. No Adam Sandler.
Oh,
Gallon
shut
soccer.
up. I still haven't watched this. Oh shoot! This showed up on another list, and you said I had to watch this, and I haven't.
This was on my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So it had
Right. That was our
So I'm-
first episode.
Look, I'm not gonna over talk about this one. If you're curious,
It's
you can
been 6
see
months.
that footage. It has been 6 months, but not for everyone. Not everyone watches them once a week, Brody.
That's true.
But anyway, this is. Can I interest you in a film where a gentleman is walking down the street and meets a homeless person who's like proselytizing kung fu. He's just out there like, trying to sell kung fu to people like religious pamphlets. And he's a former soccer player, and he discovers the kung fu and trains, and like it's just wacky and crazy, and he reconnects with his 5 brothers and gets them all to play soccer with they all have like these almost like superpowers in kung fu. It is just like fantastic. And there's like, I mean, look at this. This is not like this isn't your grandpa's soccer movie
Look at
right
that.
here.
Look at those
I mean,
clouds.
so there's like just these like almost supernatural superhero elements to like the way the soccer match is going. It's almost like you play these sports video games where they have like these unique boosts or a character like NBA Jam or something where you can leap up to the top of the gym and there's flames coming out, and it's really fun. It's very funny. It's got heart. It is laugh out loud. It is, and the soccer stuff is great, and the way that even like it's 2001. So I mean, like, look, the special effects, some of them might look a little bit dated by this point, 20 years later. Sure. But I think it holds up pretty well. And if you've seen, you've seen Kung Fu Hustle, right? So it's made by the same gentleman, Stephen Chow, and it's good. It's really good. Please, if you get a chance to see this, and Brody, you, but also the universal you, watch it. It is wonderful. You'll thank me later. And if you can't find it, come over to my house. I got a DVD. We'll just hang out. We'll put it up.
It is streaming free with ads on Pluto TV.
Oh, wow. Worth the ads, I bet.
I'm gonna look that up because I really want to see this one.
It's good. It's really good. Look, it's got subtitles, so don't watch a weird dubbed version. Just watch it in its original form with the subtitles, and just put your phone down and read. It's good. It's good for you. It's good for the soul.
There you go. All right, here we go, Charlie. Number one. Can you guess what my number one sports movie of all time is, Charlie?
Okay, Is it have wrestling in it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Does it have Jack Black in it?
Yes.
Is it Nacho Libre?
Nacho! I love this movie. This movie makes me happy, right? Hey, take it easy,
man. Don't do impressions.
This movie is so good. It's got wrestling. It's got competition. It's got the underdog story. It's got Nacho trying to fight for orphans. It's got a bad guy who is so mean. He's even mean to orphans.
That's mean. That's really mean.
Man, this movie, and it's so funny. This movie makes me laugh every time I watch it. And it's great. Like my kids like to watch it. It's so good. It's so good. What else do I say about it? I don't know. I showed you, and that was good. It's got wrestling, luchador. It's got
Jack Black's nipples. It's good.
It's got Jack Black's nipples. It's got a training montage. It's got some awesome training montages. Like I don't know. It's this movie just like when I was talking about sports movies often being dramas and like they have to like overcome and something really bad happens and then you're really sad and then like there's this emotional overcoming. Like this has that, but it's so funny throughout. And that's what I like. I'm not really a big fan of dramas, actually. I like to be entertained, and this movie does so much entertaining. Man, I love it. I wish that there was a sequel to it, because that would be awesome. That's my number one. It's my number one sports movie of all time. It's got wrestling.
Nice.
And I love my luchador.
Okay.
Lucha Libre. Lucha Libre. And it's got Jack Black.
Libre.
And he's funny.
He
so
is
there
funny.
You go.
I like Jack Black.
There is my number one, Nacho Libre.
And you know what my number one is, Brode? Because it was also on my list of top 10 favorite movies of all time. That's right. It's Major League.
There you go.
The aforementioned Major League. This is a baseball player's baseball movie. It is, I think, just a fantastically well done film in general. It is hilarious, and it is especially good if you are a fan of the game or just a fan of a team that just absolutely stinks, which I am. My poor Angels. But anyway, this is a really, really well done baseball film, and like the actual baseball. Like I talked earlier about how sometimes the storytelling is good, sometimes it's the sports parts are good, and when you can marry those two things together, you got some real magic. And I think this movie does a really good job of building like really interesting characters, giving them funny little lines here and there, developing a story with some warmth and some depth, and then also just having killer baseball sequences all the way through. It's very quotable, very memorable, and very enjoyable. So I obviously it's my number one. I recommend it highly. And if you love baseball, you've probably already seen it, and if you haven't, you gotta go check it out. Even the sequels have their moments. There's like Major League 2, and then I think Scott Bakula does like a Major League 3 in the minor leagues. And good old Scotty Bakula. They got their moments. They got their moments. But none of them hold a candle to this one. Wesley Snipes' second appearance in the list. He is fantastic in this movie as Willie Mays Hayes. He absolutely steals every scene he's in. Dennis Haysbert is fantastic in this movie. Corbin Burnson is an old grumpy Corbin. Playing the hot corner. Charlie Sheen is just fine as the Wild Thing. He's doing his thing. He's just fine. Tom Berenger and his bad knees. Rene Russo. The list goes on. Bob Uecker is the scene stealing machine. And if you want to see my embarrassing story attached to this, go ahead and watch our top 10 favorite movies all time, and wait for the rolling dice story, and on there. But I won't bear it again. So this is my number one. Brody, you've never seen this movie, and it breaks my heart.
I don't know if I have.
I've seen Nacho Libre, but you've never seen Major League, and that stings me on a personal level.
Part of that is your fault. Charlie, I lived with you for years. If I haven't seen this, it's because you haven't shown it to me.
Oh, I tried, but you're like, no, I want to watch Event Horizon for the 65th time.
Hey, that's a good movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised this hasn't been rebooted.
You can't reboot it. You can't. Stop it. Stop that. Get out of here. If they wanted to carry on the banner of Major League and create a new script, but just call it Major League and maybe make one of these guys the new old manager.
Yeah,
I'd watch that. I mean. I'd watch that.
That's what I mean.
But don't reboot it. Don't give me this script with like some updated actors. I don't need to see Robert Pattinson and some like, thick black frame glasses.
What's wrong?
No
with
offense,
Patty?
All right, we'll see how he does in the new Batman film, but
It's gonna be good.
It's like anyone can play Batman, but there's only one wild thing. I mean, I'm just saying. All right, can I do some shout outs to some honorable mentions?
Yeah, for sure.
Good. All right, I got a few. All right,
Okay.
So if you're looking, so there's some recommendations. If you're looking for some other good baseball movies that didn't quite make my list for one reason or another, Moneyball is fantastic. That's streaming, I believe, on Netflix.
I was wondering if that was going to be on your list.
It's a very good movie, very well done. If you're in the mood for a different style of baseball movie, 8 Men Out. It's more of a drama dealing with the Black Sox scandal in the 1919 World Series, something like that. Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck, where he's playing baseball in Japan. Very funny. I think. I don't know. It's been a while. I don't think that's probably not streaming anywhere. Angels in the Outfield. Come on. With a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Sure.
Matthew McConaughey, Adrian Brody, Danny Glover. The list goes on and on. Tony Danza. Hold me closer, Tony Danza. I didn't put it on my list because it didn't feel right. But Jerry Maguire, if you want to count that as a sports movie, fantastic. Best of the Best with Eric Roberts, a karate film where they're training for the Olympic karate team. Talk about some underdog feel good stuff. Now here comes Miracle, Mighty Ducks. If you want a couple of hockey films,
I thought about Mighty Ducks.
But here come the hot takes, Brody. Here come the flaming hot takes.
Okay, here we go.
I do not like Field of Dreams.
Really?
And I know
that.
I know it's a very popular film, and I know that's very meaningful to people out there. So if you're one of those people who just loves Field of Dreams, it's very, very deep and meaningful to you. I apologize.
Why don't you like that movie?
I thought it was pretty boring and pretty contrived, and I don't really connect with the story, and I don't know. It's just not for me. It's been a little while since I've seen it, but I just didn't interest me a lot. Not a lot. There's not enough baseball in it, to be quite frank. Having a catch with your dad, I think, is a nice sentiment, but building a movie around people, ghosts walking out of cornfields. I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions too. What are we doing here? So they can summon ghosts out of the cornfields. I don't know what's going on. James Earl Jones is fantastic.
If you build it, they will come.
It's fine. It's fine. And also not making my list, Rudy, which I know is probably most people's number one all-time sports movie.
I thought about putting Rudy on my list.
And that's another one that as I've gotten older, I used to love Rudy. I own both Field of Dreams and Rudy on DVD, so it's not like I hate him. But as I've gotten older, it's just one that has my love for it is softened a lot. I'm just not that interested in a whole movie built around the idea of someone who really doesn't belong on a football field, getting to play one snap in a football game. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. Whatever. Can you imagine that about anything other than sports? Like someone training their whole lives to be a lawyer, but they really suck at law, and they're just the world's worst lawyer. And then for 1 second, they get to go in the courtroom and deliver a really bad speech, and then they're out of the courtroom forever. And a whole movie built around the world's worst, musician, getting to play like one note at a concert. Like they walk onto the stage, they have no business being there, and they play like one wrong note, and then off they go, and everyone cheers. I mean, like it's just, I don't know. It's great. I know a lot of people like everyone now. I just gotten word from our producer. We're down to 18 subscribers.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Like Rudy is great. I should just watch it again and just not overthink it. But
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I like Sean Austin. You know, he's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
I don't know. Whatever. College football. It's not for me.
There you go.
Why when I can watch 25 baseball movies? Yes, please.
There's a lot of baseball movies.
There are so many good ones. It's the best sport for movies. It's slow paced, enough action, easy
More
enough
so
to
than
create
professional wrestling?
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously.
There's only been like 3. No, it was more than that. More than that.
Three wrestling
I didn't
movies?
count No Holds Barred.
So I'm honestly surprised I didn't make a sneaker in or there. I thought maybe number 9 or 10 or something.
With No Holds Barred? No, that movie.
Yeah, maybe Over the Top, a little arm wrestling with Stallone. Come on, what are we doing here?
Is arm wrestling a sport, Charlie? According to your criteria?
Thank you for asking, Brody. While it does meet the criteria of requiring a degree of strength and athleticism, and it does have a set defined parameter of rules, and you and I could go play arm wrestling. It's more of a feat of strength. You know, it'd be like weight lifting in that kind of category where we could compete at like lifting weights, and
Like
that's
a competition.
a competition, a show of strength,
sure.
rather than a sport. You know, you can kind of see how I'm dividing that, right? You know, there needs to be a little bit more to something in order for it, I think, to fully qualify as a sport. Like spinball. Brody and I invented the great game of spinball.
Oh, gosh.
Now that sport should have caught on.
That
If YouTube had existed when we invented that sport, it would have been a huge hit.
Oh man, I still feel the effects of spinball 20 years later. All right,
B. Good
Well,
lists. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was tough. I just found out that I don't watch a whole lot of sports movies.
Yeah, it's okay.
Or I guess I watch them, but I'm not like rewatching them and stuff like that for them to stick. So
Maybe in a future episode we can do top 10 worst sports movies, because there's some doozies I was remembering as I was making my list. There's some real clunkers.
I'm pretty sure that if we made that list, I might have a couple that might cross over between my best and my worst.
Just because they're the only ones you've seen. All right. Yeah, we get it. You don't really like The Sandlot. We get it.
All right. Charlie.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Right below me are some other videos of ours that you can peruse and experience, click on, watch. And right below Brody, you can click that like button or that subscribe button. You know, it brings him eternal joy in his heart. So make this grumpy man happy. Bring him a little bit of joy and click that button for us. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Talk Bunch.
Bye-bye.